Hello everybody, welcome back. Congratulations to Vitiugov who's won the British Rapidplay. Played in it last year, won it last year, but this year was probably a stronger field, let's be honest. Um, Although there's no Shreyas this year, I think he's playing in World Juniors. But yeah, it was Gawain, who's obviously English and British champion, and he also won a London Chess Classic, so he's got a lustrous pedigree. Gawain Jones and Vitiugov, who is a former Russian champion, has also won the very strong Grenke Open, has, I think, got to the latter stages of the FIDE World Cup before, and has been, her highest rate has been 27.51, so he's got a very, very strong CV. 27.51, there's not many players who achieve that kind of rating, right? That's a phenomenal rating. It's not quite as high as that these days. I think his form has probably suffered a little bit because of obviously what's happened with the war in Ukraine. Probably hasn't played as much chess as he would have liked. Obviously now he's based, in it with the English Chess Federation. That's great news for us because, we need strong players in this country. But in the last round, I had a chance actually. I kind of lost my nerve. My opponent played Queen G4 in the opening. I kind of got the move order slightly wrong. I went Bishop D3 as a sort of mistake because then he goes Queen G4. So I realised he's hitting the pawn on G2, and G3 looked really ugly. I thought G3 was just bad. Actually, it's not that bad. G3, but it doesn't look very good for white, to be honest. Even though computer gives it as equal, I think practically it is better for black, but human versus human game, because G3 looks like an ugly move. It's not a move you really want to play. But of course, he has lost a little bit of time with his queen. If I go knight E2, I think Queen G2 is just better for black. So he offered a draw at that point. It was ironic because I played Kovchen in the last round of Groningen Open 2013. And that was another experience I'll have to mention at some point on my channel, but I will mention that actually because that was quite a bizarre experience. At some point over the next few days, I'll talk about that. But I offered him a draw in that tournament, which he declined because I thought if I draw, maybe I need a draw to get a place in the Vikansay C group. And my plan was to keep getting a ferry back to Vikansay, qualify through the C group to the B group, then get the ferry back, a 15-hour ferry because I was scared of flying at the time, still am probably, and then go back to the B group and then get through to the A group and then finally play Magnus. That was my long-term plan, but it didn't work out. I don't have the C group anymore in Vikansay. Anyway, I played Kovchan in the final round. So he tied for first because he had a great result against Gawain. He beat Gawain with black. That was a great endgame that he played. Kovchan's a very strong player as well. He's been 26-40 in the past. So both of these players have kind of suffered a little bit of deflation, a little bit older than they were, possibly maybe slightly weaker than they were. A bit like me, I'm slightly weaker than I was. But they're still very strong players. Gawain is definitely a 26-50 player. Just didn't have a very good event here, I don't think. I think it's difficult for him because he's obviously got to juggle this being a single dad now, sadly. And sometimes that can be difficult. I think it took its toll on him because obviously with the Rapidplay, it's a very compressed schedule. You got like 11 games in 2 days. I think he was okay on the Saturday, but probably on the Sunday caught up with him a little bit. Didn't have his best stuff. But yeah, overall I played really well. I thought played really well at the start of the tournament. I was really wiping people out really quickly in the first couple of rounds. So I was the first to finish round 1 and round 2, pretty much in the whole tournament hall. So I was like, wow, this is so easy, I think Rapidplay suits me because part of my weakness, I think, with long players, I tend to overthink it. With Rapidplay, you just basically make a move, and you're like, you don't really care. It doesn't matter if it's a mistake or not to some degree. I think you have to kind of balance that a little bit, because the key moment was against Vitiugov, possibly the early middle game. I could have gone G4. There was like a moment where I could have gone G4. When he takes, I got H4. I saw that variation, but I wasn't sure about it. But I think I could have probably invested 3 or 4 minutes there trying to figure out some of the lines, and I might have gone for that, and it might have been a different result. But I didn't do that. But yeah, as far as rapid play is concerned, I think that's why someone like Mark Ebden's done so well in rapid play over the years. I think out of all the players, he's probably won the rapid play championship the most. And that's probably because his style tends to be like quite free flowing, and he tends to just not really care so much if he makes a mistake. He's just got that sort of good philosophy towards chess. Like, if you make a mistake, you just carry on. It's quite a mentally strong player. And I think that's quite key at rapid play. And he's also quite a tricky player. He's quite good tactically, finding sort of short tactical ideas and tricking the opponent. And that's very important at rapid play. But yeah, overall, I was quite happy with the performance. So yeah, I mean, it's all looking positive at the moment, very positive. Just the disappointing thing is I was on board 1 in Hastings final round. If I won, I'd been outright champion. I was on about board 3 or 4 in the final round, board 4 in the final round of Isle of Wight. If I won that, I would have come equal first. I was on board 1 in the final round of here, the rapid play. If I won, I would have been equal first doing a playoff. I wasn't sure actually when I agreed to draw, because obviously Vitiugov was still playing. Would he have potentially? I was thinking that it's possibly he would have won against Stan, because he's obviously high rated, but Stan is a good player. I'm not sure if Kovchan's his coach, maybe, because obviously, Vitiugov is originally from Russia. Kovchan is from Ukraine. But Vitiugov left Russia because of his unhappiness with the situation with the war in Ukraine. So possibly Kovchan helps him to train him. I don't know. That's just speculation on my part. I can be completely wrong there. But yeah, as far as who could win the tournament in the future, hopefully I'll still have a chance in the future years. I think Gawain would have a chance, actually. Obviously, he's going to have a chance of winning this again if he decides to enter it. Obviously, Vitiugov as well. Quite a lot of these other players. As far as the junior players is concerned, I'll be looking at people like Stanley Badasconi, Jude Cheersby. I'll be looking at people like Bod Hanna, obviously Ethan Pang, although he wasn't playing. Supratit Banerjee played very well at the beginning of the event, seemed to get a bit tired maybe towards the end. I think there was also somebody else called Adi Yifa. That's not such a familiar name, but he seemed to do quite well. He's quite a young player as well. So all these players could be in the mix in future. I think, I was chatting to Amit Gartz, who's also won the UK Rapid before, and he's a very strong player. He played a very strong field here, actually. He's just unlucky because he lost 2 key games against Vitiugov, where he was doing well at one point, and against Gawain. But he's very strong. But when I was chatting to him, he first won the British Rapid Play when he was 14, which is obviously a phenomenal achievement. And when I played him, apparently I played him in that tournament. I remember being there. I remember watching him play against Mark Hebden in the final round. And I remember when Mark lost, Mark said, "Oh, it's just a game," right? I remember that. But I didn't remember the fact that I played Amit in round 7 and apparently I beat him. But then he won his next 4 games. So round 8, round 9, round 10 or 11, he won all those 4 games, right? And I wasn't aware that I played him in that tournament. I'd just forgotten about it. So firstly, that makes me realise that half of my life I can't even frigging remember, right? And the other thing makes me realise is, you're going back 20 odd years. If I'd have really gone after it at that period, who knows how many British rapid plays I could have won? How many? I mean, I was quite close anyway, even without really putting much effort in. So who knows how many British rapid plays I could have won? How many British normal championships I could have won? How many strong tournaments I could have won? I regret that for 20 odd years I was just bumming around, not really putting the effort in. I think I work slightly harder now, but it's still not enough. So one thing I would say to all those junior players who are trying to get better, trying to win titles, it's all about how much work you put in. And what you should do is really just, don't lose the momentum. When you're doing well, when you're having good tournaments, don't rest on your laurels. Just keep going, keep working harder, and the results will come. But yeah, I mean, if I'd have really been going after it, it makes me realise a lot of time I was just bumming around, turn up these tournaments. Let's see how we get on. Rely on my natural talent. Seems to do the trick. It's not enough. You got to work harder. You got to. That's what I'm saying about always the bridesmaid, never the bride. If I work that bit harder, then you go from being the bridesmaid to the actual bride. As far as the tournament's concerned, I mentioned this before, the Fallen Seal. It's a little bit of a victim of his own success in a way. There's so many players there. It's almost like the Foreign Seal has got so big, it's almost outgrown these venues that they need like bigger venues. But I don't think Mike Turan and the Foreign Seal got the budget. They're running a lot of these tournaments at a loss. So they haven't necessarily got the budget to support going to larger venues. I'm not sure what venues you'd use anyway. The hotel was a pretty good hotel. I mean, on the Sunday, there's pretty good service at the bar, but it's just still difficult to get food because there's so many people there, and milling around during the round, so it's difficult to get a seat. After I played a game against Vitiugov, that was round 7. I couldn't sit down for like half an hour after the game because every single seat's taken in the hotel, right? It's not ideal, so you have to go outside maybe. And the thing is, you can't get food necessarily. I got a packet of crisps, so that's not too bad. But the problem with that venue is it's difficult to actually. There's no shop around there. It doesn't seem to be like a shop within walking distance. There is a pub which is about 10-minute walk, so you could potentially walk there. But the problem is, obviously, once you walk there and then you come back again, you might end up in time trouble or lose your game by default. So overall, yeah, I'm quite happy with that performance. I think going forward, European Championships starts in Romania in a few weeks' time. I should try and play tournaments like that, really. That's really what the chess career should be about, trying to play as strong as opposition as possible. You want to play people like Vitiugov all the time, because that way you get to understand how strong you are when you're playing against strong players. It's nice to play weekenders and so on. I mean, this is a strong weekender. For most weekenders, you're playing against people you're much stronger than. You don't really learn anything new. Beat people that you're better than, what does that prove? It doesn't prove anything. Where you want to prove yourself is by playing against some of the best players in the world, That's what it's all about. So what I want to do going forward is not just play British events, but play overseas events and against strong players, because I think that's the way you improve. You try to go after it and you try to get better. Anyway, that was a UK Rapid. Whether I play it next year, it's a long slog, 11 rounds. I'm actually exhausted. I left the hotel quite early because obviously last game started at 3. Probably didn't leave the hotel till about 3:40. Got to the train station for about 3:40, maybe about 3:45. The train left Peterborough at 4:14. I got into Almouth, that's near where I live, at approximately just after 9 p.m. It normally takes 3 hours, but this time it took nearly 5 hours because of there's some sort of like rail replacement service. So I had to get a bus. I love coaches, by the way. I got on a coach at York. So you had to walk like like 300 meters to get to the coach bit where they had the coach. It was a bit weird. So you leave the York station, you like walking on the street for about 300 meters. Got down to the coach bit. I got in the coach and I said to the driver, I said, I need to get to Almouth because he said, oh, this is just going to Newcastle. But I said, I need to get to Almouth, which is further on, right? How do I get to Almouth? And he said, oh, you can get a, you can stay on this, but you could also get 9:14. That was the train I ended up getting, actually. So actually, I got into Almouth, about 10 o'clock, actually. So it was over 5 hours journey. But he said you could do that, or you could go back to York Station, and there was a train apparently that would have got in earlier to Newcastle and got in earlier to Almouth. But I thought, I was so tired by that point. I thought I got to go downstairs, get the bag out of the coach, and then just go back the way I came back to the train station. I'm just too tired to even do that. Like mentally, I'm just so shattered after playing 11 games of chess in 2 days. Just didn't want to do it. So I said, I don't really care. I'll just stay on this as long as it gets me there eventually. I love coach journeys anyway. I actually love coach journeys. I just love sitting on the coach because there's no, and also it's not, I don't like reading a book on the coach because when you're reading a book, you get a bit car sick. So when I'm on a coach, I just zone out. I just basically just sit there and then look out at the world or just think about stuff. When you're sitting on a train, you kind of feel like, I better read a book or something like that. But when you're on the coach, I really love coach journeys because you see a lot of stuff that you don't normally see as well. When you're on a train, it's all kind of like, you're just seeing a line and that's it. You can get there. When you're on the coach, you see all like the little streets and when you're going through a town, all that kind of stuff. So it's like probably my favourite thing to do, like a coach journey. But anyway, so that's the tournament. So I think the next tournament, I'm not sure because I've got nothing lined up in March at all. So I'm thinking about whether I should play the European Championships, but it would cost quite a lot of money. I might do a GoFundMe for Gordon at the European Championships to sponsor me to play the European Championships because I've never played it before. It's in Romania. I have no idea how to get there. You'd probably have to get a connecting flight. Probably wouldn't be able to get a direct flight from England. But have to fly somewhere and fly on, right? But other than that, I've got nothing lined up till April. So, yeah, that's it.